It is an honor to be back. It looks like we're officially recording, which is awesome. I am Katie Lance, and we are talking today all about AI, Canva, and ChatGPT, how to create some stunning content that saves you time and get results. So I'm super excited to have all of you here today. Welcome, welcome. As you guys are tuning in, feel free to comment in the chat and say hi. And the way we have this formatted, we did this similarly just a few weeks ago. It looks like all of you are muted, so thank you for that. I appreciate it. Just keeps it easier. If you have questions as we go through our time here together today, feel free to use the chat and just type in the chat your question. I'm pretty good at multitasking and talking and reading the chat at the same time, but if I miss anything, there'll be an opportunity at the end. You can always unmute at the end if you have anything that you'd like to ask. I have a QR code on the screen here. That's my Instagram. I would love to connect with you if we're not yet connected on Instagram. Feel free to take out your phone, scan it, and give me a follow. And as we go through our time together today, if you hear a nugget, you hear something that gets you fired up, feel free to take a picture, take a selfie, tag, post it, tag me, tag, Northwest Mississippi Realtors. And it's awesome to always hop on social afterwards and see who was here and be able to follow you back and connect with you. So excited to have you guys here. Hey, Jamie. Hey, Frankie. Good to see everyone here today. All right, for those of you who aren't familiar with me and my background, again, I'm Katie Lance. I'm the founder and CEO of Katie Lance Consulting and the Get Social Smart Academy. I'm author of the book Get Social Smart. I'm a mom and a wife and a business owner and a keynote speaker. And you can see a few pictures on the screen here. I'm happily married. My husband and I have been married almost 24 years. We've been in business 13 years. So partners in life, partners in business. We have two teenage boys, and as I look at that picture, I realize that's from a few years ago. They're much taller than me now. But I share all of that with you because, at the end of the day, time is our most precious asset. And I feel this very deeply as a mom and a wife and a business owner. And so today we're talking about tools that are going to save you time. And that's the name of the game, right? I'm a big believer when it comes to social media and AI that it should never replace you, but when done right, it should hopefully save you a lot of time because I don't think any of us got into business for ourselves to work, a million hours out of the week. So I'm excited about that. If you just joined, welcome, welcome. We're going to go for about an hour today. Everything's recorded, so if you missed something, it sounds like it's going to be up on the YouTube channel at some point, which is great. There's also our other webinar we did, which is up there as well. So I don't have the link here, but I'm sure maybe Amanda can drop it in the chat, or it's probably just the Northwest Mississippi YouTube channel. If you Google it, most likely it's going to come up, but if she has the link, I'm sure she can drop it in here. All right, so let's get into it here today. We're talking all about the future, right? We're talking about the AI and we're talking about ChatGPT. We're talking about Canva. I'm even going to drop in a few things about Google and Gemini because I think that's an important conversation also when we talk about AI. And, when I think about the future, and I'm probably dating myself, but I remember back in the day as a kid and thinking the future would look like the Jetsons, with maybe the robot maid or whatever it might be, or flying cars. As I got older, I thought, well, maybe the future will look like, Back to the Future with hoverboards and again, flying cars. And the future doesn't quite look like that, but the future is really now. And, ChatGPT, came out at the end of 2022, so it's 3.5 years, and it's really revolutionized how a lot of us do work. And I would be curious, those of you who are watching live with us, I would love to know what, if any, AI tools are you using? Can you type it in the chat? What AI tools are you using? Just, and if you're not using AI, that's okay too. Maybe you're here and you're just curious, but are you using ChatGPT? Are you using Claude? Are you using Gemini? Are you using Canva? Just type in the chat. I'm just curious. There's no right or wrong answer, but would love to know where you are all at when it comes to AI. I see a couple Geminis, a couple ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. And the good thing is a lot of what I'm talking about today can really apply to so many different AI platforms, whether it's ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, which is exciting. Copilot, yep, that's another big one. hmm Awesome. By the way, speaking of Disney, I've got my big Disney mug right here. We're a big Disney family. ChatGPT mostly, Canva, Copilot. You need help with Canva. Cool. We're going to cover that today. So, Jamie, and really for everyone, we only have an hour, so we're going to get into ChatGPT, some tips, tools, tricks, ideas. Like I said, I'm going to touch a little bit on Gemini because I think that's a big platform, especially if any of you use Google tools. I'm going to share some of my other favorite AI tools that you may not know about. And then we're also going to talk about Canva at the end. Yeah, Jasmine, we'll talk about Canva at the end for sure. So time is money, as we all know. That's what it's all about. Time is money. Time is our most precious asset. So that's why we're here today, right? So one thing I thought would be interesting to talk about also is what is NAR thinking about when it comes to AI? I actually just had the opportunity to go out to Chicago to the NAR headquarters and speak with some of the executives with NAR. They put out their annual report at the end of the year. If you haven't downloaded it, it's free. You can go to the NAR website and just download it. It's pretty robust. But a couple things. They have AI-powered scriptwriters and mobile CMA tools that are baked into RPR. So if you're using RPR at all, there's a lot of great AI tools that are baked into that. There's 25 AI-driven SEO website templates that were launched this last year through NAR. AI tools are being used to help protect the trademark. AI personalizations coming to a lot of education platforms, and AI is really integrated into operations and compliance kind of throughout the organization. And we can't quite escape it. It's everywhere. And not only that, it's really baked into a lot of the tools that we're using. So one of the first reasons why it's important when we think about AI is this idea of, are you showing up in search? It used to be you would Google yourself or someone would Google you. And when you get Googled, the first few things that would pop up are maybe your website or, your social media platforms. But now AI is popping up, and specifically with Google, it's a Gemini AI, kind of blurb. So I Googled myself recently. I logged out of Google and Googled, who's great at teaching social media, and luckily I popped up. So we have to think about, how does that work? How do you get populated inside of AI? And I'm sure a lot of you maybe have been to classes and people have talked about it. And the short answer is you have to put out content on the internet. And whether that content's on YouTube, whether that content's on Instagram, whether that content's on Facebook. And not only does content that's unique, meaning content in your voice, in your opinion, with your personality, where you're showing up, especially on video, can be a really big way that you can not only keep in touch with your clients, but also attract new people and also show up in search. And I always say, by the way, and I've been saying this for years, social media is rented ground. We don't own it, right? Social media is rented ground. So if there was ever a reason to not put all of our eggs in one basket and to not just have content on Facebook or Instagram, it's this idea of having a content library that goes with you wherever you are. And that's also why posting just graphics isn't really going to do the job, right? You have to show up. We have to hear you. We have to see you. Now, I know the elephant in the room is we don't always like how we look. We don't like how we sound. We don't know how to do it, so then we don't do it. And I think I shared this last time, but I have a good friend of mine who very lovingly reminded me a long time ago. She was like, Katie, that is how you look and that is how you sound. So you got to get over it. So I will lovingly tell you the same thing. We're not talking a ton about video today, but a lot of what I'm talking about is going to help you in terms of showing up. And I would also say too, and this might be controversial to say, I want to see you. I do not want to see the AI version of you. And I know that's a little bit of a hot take, but especially in this industry where real estate is one of the biggest financial decisions of most people's lives, it's right up there with getting married or having kids. We are always working on that know, like, and trust factor. And the moment I see a video and I'm like, oh, that's Sharon. And then I realize, oh, that's not really Sharon. That looks like her, but it's not really her. That trust tends to erode away. So I'm going to focus today on some prompts and ideas and workflows that are going to help you do what you already do, but just do it faster and do it more efficient. So in terms of just some numbers, I thought this was interesting. As of early 2026, ChatGPT is still the dominant AI tool in real estate. 82% of Americans are using it, similar to other AI platforms for housing. 67% of home buyers are comfortable using it to find an agent. 82% use AI for housing information, but 62% still trust real estate agents the most. I think what's also important to understand is that we are seeing clients go to AI. They're going to ChatGPT and asking for advice. They're asking for information. And there's also an inherent bias. When you ask ChatGPT for advice, there's a little bit of a bias that they're going to say, well, that's a great idea, Susie. Oh, I think you're so smart that you said that, right? So you have to understand that. And you also have to start to be prepared for what happens when a client comes to you and says, oh my gosh, I just ChatGPT'd it and this is what it told me. Right. So not to scare you, but that's something that's happening now. And it's also just something to think about as well. Right. So how are agents, and by the way, I can hear a couple of you if you wouldn't mind muting. Sorry. Thank you. I appreciate it. How are agents using ChatGPT? I recently did a big post up on my Facebook page. A lot of people responded. There was a couple standouts that I thought were interesting. I think this there was always we can always learn from other folks. Susan said so many ways. I recently created a new Zoom background. I've named my chat atlas. I've created reports and lists. I've scanned pages of notes for a seminar, and it streamlined it to make a to-do list, which I love. Right? Imagine going to a seminar, you come back. I just did this recently. I went to a seminar. I took like 20 pages of notes. I took pictures of them, uploaded them to ChatGPT. It made basically a to-do list of action items, made a quick outline. Now, instead of those notes just like sitting in a corner and me never doing anything, like it's a great way again to be effective with your time. Patricia says I uploaded CRM analytics, calls, mailers, emails, referrals, and the results for the year. Asked it to set goals for the calls and emails to reach, such and such GCI. She checks in daily. She has a real coach who keeps her accountable, but I think she thinks both can coexist. And then Dylan says, I use ChatGPT less for writing, more for thinking. It helps work through strategy, client situations, marketing ideas. Use it to answer Facebook questions as well. So I have a lot of stuff on the screen, by the way. So feel free to take pictures of anything. And if any of you would like a link to the slides later, I'm going to drop my email in the chat because I've got a bunch of stuff on the screen. So if you want to email me at some point and say, yes, I'd like the slides from today, I'm happy to send those to you. Just like I said, I just put my email in the chat. It's just Katie@katielance.com. So one thing that I think is really important, whether you've been on ChatGPT a long time or whether you're new to all this, you have to make sure that you're customizing your ChatGPT or any AI tool you use. Pretty much any AI tool, you can go into the back end and look at your settings, make sure you're telling it who you are, what words you like, what sounds like you, what you don't want to say. And that way you have the result as close as possible, right? It's still not going to be perfect. I think of ChatGPT and any AI tool as kind of a first draft tool, especially if you're using it for writing. I feel like if it can get you 50% of the way there, it's going to save you, 50% of your time. Obviously, you still have to read it over, double check it for fair housing, but make sure you're going into your settings to customize your chat GPT. I think we could all agree that the prompt and how you ask something is really important. Again, whether it's ChatGPT or any AI tool. So instead of just being really generic, I think we all know this, but if you're newer to AI, right, it can't just be like, hey, write something about real estate. We want to be as specific as possible, right? So instead of just, hey, give me an idea for real estate, it could be, hey, write an Instagram caption for realtors about why spring is a great time to sell, make it friendly, encouraging, under 150 words. Right. So I think we all know this, but just in case if you're feeling like it's not really being effective, the more specific, the better. And typically the best prompt is going to include who it's for, what's the topic, the tone, the desired length, and the platform. Kind of like that who, what, where, why, and how when we were younger and learned all that. Um, the setting is where in chat. So you're going to go into, I'll go back one slide here really quick. If you want, you can take a picture of this. But when you're in ChatGPT at the very top, I think it's at the top on the right or the left, depending on what your ChatGPT looks like. You just click on your little avatar, you have like a little picture of yourself, and that's going to take you to your settings where you can customize your ChatGPT. It's probably for a lot of you like in the lower left-hand corner of ChatGPT. There's like a little icon. It's in one of the corners, and you click that and you'll get to your settings. You can do this on the phone. I find it's a little bit easier on the computer, but you can do it on the computer as well as the phone. Okay, so I'm going to go through three examples, really specific examples about ChatGPT, and then I'm going to give some examples for Gemini because they're similar but different. And then, like I said, I'm going to go through a couple other AI tools and then get into Canva. So ChatGPT, number one, great for social media content. You can use ChatGPT to write captions based on your video topics. So again, I want to hear you. I want to see you. So one of the best ways to create content is have a running list of ideas as you're out and about, as you are at a meeting, as you go to a sales meeting, go to a home inspection, you meet with a client. These are all potential content opportunities. So you've got video topics. You could easily use ChatGPT to kind of help with either scripts or different captions. Use it to turn one idea into multiple posts, right? You might say, hey, I've got a video about 123 Main Street. Can you help me turn this into additional multiple post ideas? You could use it to generate carousel text, generate strong opening hooks, right? So instead of doing a video where you're like, hi, I'm so and so, and today I'm going to talk. I've already scrolled past you, right? We need a strong hook. What are you going to talk about? Let's get right into it. So that doesn't come naturally for a lot of people. So this is where ChatGPT can help develop a little bit of a stronger script. And I've got an example on the screen here, asking ChatGPT to give you 5 Instagram reel hooks for realtors about pricing strategy, right? Yeah, my pleasure, Nancy. So that's number one. The second thing, great for listing marketing, as I'm sure a lot of you know this, great for listing descriptions, great for to write social media posts promoting listings, drafting email announcements, highlighting property features. Obviously, always review it and edit it. I think one of the things that I really love about ChatGPT is the fact you can upload content into ChatGPT. So instead of just giving it a bunch of information about a listing, you can say, hey, here's all the information and here's 5 photos, here's 10 photos. And your listing is going to, your description is going to be so much better because ChatGPT has some photos for reference. So, and by the way, this is all free. I know some of you might have the paid version of ChatGPT, but this is all free. Obviously, always double check. Really important you double check with anything. I think that goes without saying. But we're at a really interesting tipping point with ChatGPT where I could scroll through social media and I could tell pretty quickly if someone has written something in ChatGPT or not. So we want to make sure we do our due diligence. I'm sure you've seen this as you look at the MLS and go, yeah, that person didn't write that, right? So read it over, add your own personality, make sure everything is accurate, that we don't just blindly copy and paste. The third example, email and client communication, right? So whether this is email marketing, which I'm a huge believer in email marketing, like I said earlier, social media is rented ground. We do not own it. So I definitely encourage you to build your database, send out helpful email newsletters, whether that's once a month or once a quarter, but you're also in your email all the time with client communication. So ChatGPT is great to help with follow-up emails. You might have a delicate email or a great, some sort of follow-up email. I do recommend if you're using it for any kind of client communication, you want to protect their privacy. I wouldn't just blindly copy and paste a whole email. You might copy and paste an email, but take out their private information, protect their confidentiality. I think that's important to do. But you can use it to create buyer and seller, education emails, helpful information emails, newsletter ideas, open house follow-ups. And again, most likely you're already doing a lot of this, right? So the idea is to do it in a way that's going to save you time. And in a perfect world, maybe even have some of these set up as templates so you're not always like reinventing the wheel every single time you have someone reach out to you, right? So those are definitely a few things that make a big difference. A little progress each day adds up to big results. And if you're sharing anything to social media, this is a great thing to share. I think, again, a lot of times when we talk about tech and AI, it can just feel a little overwhelming. And the idea is you don't have to do it all, right? The old saying, Rome was not built in a day, but the idea is to do one or two things and implement those immediately. And the same thing I would say goes true for AI. Everything I'm talking about today, there's going to be some things that you resonate with and other things you're like, not as much, right? So having that balance, I think is key. So I want to talk a little bit about ChatGPT versus Gemini, and then I'm going to give you some Gemini examples because they're similar in a lot of ways, but they're also different. And I want to give a couple of different examples. And Gemini, by the way, if you are someone who lives in the Google world a lot, if your email is powered by Gmail, if you are in Google Docs a lot, if you use Google Sheets, if you use Google Drive, um, if you use Google at all, Gemini is actually a great tool. And it is free. There is a paid version. I use both, and I feel like they are similar but different. So I feel like ChatGPT really shines when it comes to creative writing. Let's say you want to create a really interesting story for a listing that you have, or just, create something a little bit more interesting than just 3 bedroom, 2 bath, open Saturday, 1 to 4. Great for creative writing, really good for social captions, especially when you get specific. If you just ask ChatGPT, hey, I need a social media post. Hey, I need a caption for this post, it's not going to be as good as instead of you want to get specific. Okay, so for ChatGPT, I would say, hey, can you write me a social media caption for Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever platform you're having it write for. Scripts, again, whether that's video scripts, that could be scripts if you just want to get better in terms of like handling objections. Great for scripts, great for helping you figure out your brand voice. You're all part of a brand with your office, but you're also your own brand. So what does that look like? Your brand is not just your logo. It's like how you say things, how you come across, your personality. So it can help a lot in terms of just like helping to hone that, which means it's also going to help you hone that when you're working with any AI tool. I think Gemini is really great for any kind of Google SEO. Like if you are trying to search engine optimize your content, this is probably a little bit more advanced, but for those of you who are putting out a lot of content, maybe you're already putting out content publicly on Instagram and you're doing videos, you're doing TikToks, you're doing YouTube. Well, are you optimizing your content? This is one of the things I do for a lot of our content. I will take a YouTube video that I created and say, hey, can you, especially with Gemini, since Gemini is part of Google, which is part of YouTube, it's part of the whole, ecosphere. I can go into Gemini and say, hey, can you help me search engine optimize this video? What's the best title? What are the best keywords? What are the best descriptions? Market research. I think Gemini is phenomenal with market research. And this is not on the screen here, but there's something inside of Gemini called deep research where you can go into Gemini and it's just if you just Google Gemini, it'll pop up. It's free. It's a free tool if you've never used it before. But when you're using Gemini, there's a feature called deep research where it's not just going to give you an answer, it's going to literally do deep research. So you can go in and ask for specific market data for a certain city, a certain time period, and it takes a little bit longer than just a quick, ChatGPT prompt, but it'll create a really deep, robust report and it'll cite all the sources. It'll say, hey, here's the 25 sources I used to create this market report. I did this recently for a report. It created like a 14-page report. So that's called deep research. Like I said, market research. I do want to say too, even though it's Gemini, you want to still double check your numbers, make sure those numbers are accurate. That's important. Spreadsheet summaries, if you're the kind of person who uses spreadsheet, especially Google Sheets for anything, it's great for that. And then again, YouTube keyword brainstorming. Okay, I want to give a couple quick ideas for Gemini also. And these, if you're not using Gemini, you can still use some of this stuff for ChatGPT. But I do find that some of them are better for Gemini. The idea here is to try it out, rinse and repeat and see what works. So again, ChatGPT is great, but if you're using Google, Gemini is a great option. And this is baked into things like Gemini, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Drive, Google Calendar. It's all baked into there. So you can go directly to Gemini, but if you're using any of these tools, it's also baked into that as well. So let's go through a few workflows here. Here's the first one. The website, by the way, again, you could just Google this, or you could go to gemini.google.com/app, and you'll see that this is kind of what it looks like. Very similar to what ChatGPT looks like, right? You can give it a prompt, you can upload information. One thing that's a little bit different with Gemini is you can give it a prompt and you can click a button called Canvas, and your prompt will actually go into a Google document. So I'll show you really quick what that looks like. You give it a prompt, and instead of just giving you an answer, it'll give you the answer, but it'll put the answer nicely formatted into a Google document, which is really nice, which means not all of your content has to live in ChatGPT, right? A lot of you, if you're using ChatGPT, you might, get your answers from ChatGPT, and then maybe you're copying and pasting them to a Word doc or a Google Doc. But with Gemini, if you use something called Canvas, it'll actually just automatically drop it into a Google document, which is kind of cool. And it's all formatted. Obviously, again, you want to read it over, double check. The second thing is it'll do videos. Now it's very limited with videos. If you have a paid version, it's a lot more robust. But you can actually create a pretty good, simple video. Now, again, this is not super robust. Okay, so let me lower the expectations on how great this video is going to be. This is not like Oscar-worthy video, I promise. But the free version of Gemini has a feature where you can go into gemini.google.com/app. You can upload 3 photos, give it a prompt, and it'll create a video. So I'm going to play this quick video here. I'm going to make sure the sound is on so you guys can hear this. Let me turn the sound on. So I'm going to hit next, and this should play, and it's like 8 seconds. So if your volume is down, you might have to turn it up. Okay, let me go here. Okay, so that was just about 8 seconds. That video was created through AI through 3 photos. That's it. Now these are 3 stock photos I just grabbed off the internet. Obviously, these would be your photos. And again, this is not the best listing video you've ever seen in your life, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good for something free and quick. So I just thought I'd share it. I don't have a crystal ball, but I think this is going to continue to get better and better. And as I said in the beginning, when it comes to AI, again, I want to see you. I don't want to see the AI version of you. But where I think AI can be really powerful, especially with videos, is taking your content you already have, your listing photos, and putting them together. So again, I'll just go back one screen. It's literally going into Gemini, giving it a prompt, adding photos, and what you're going to hit is there's a little button that says create video, and it'll put it together for you. So pretty cool, which is exciting. Jamie says, I've never used Gemini. I'll definitely check it out. Yeah, you're not old. You're not old. You're not old. I often tell people you're not too old and it's not too late. All right. I promise. I promise. Okay. One other quick prompt I want to just give. And the other thing this is kind of cool within Gemini is they have something called Nano Banana, which is just really fun to say. So I thought I would mention it. Basically, you can create images. But I also thought this was cool for real estate because you can actually virtually stage rooms, which is kind of cool. And obviously, you want to be careful, right? If you're doing this, you don't want to remove something that's permanent. Like if there's a pole in the room, we're not going to use Gemini or any tool to remove it, right? If there's power lines, we're not going to remove it because that's part of the property, right? But let's say you have a vacant house. So I just uploaded, again, this is just a stock photo. You obviously would use a real photo, but I've got a vacant photo here. I uploaded it to Gemini and I said, virtually stage this room with a modern couch, coffee table, minimalist decor, a few lamps or lighting, and a houseplant or two. So that was the prompt. And I uploaded that image. And then this is what it created. So it's pretty good. Again, not the most 100% perfect. I would imagine a virtual staging company is going to do it even better. But if you are on a budget, looks pretty good, right? Now, obviously, you also have to indicate in your description, hey, here are some examples of what this could look like virtually staged. Again, I just think that's a cool free example, which is fun. Hey, Corey, yeah, no problem. And instead of putting it in the chat, any of you who want the slides, because once we go off the air, the chat's going to disappear. So just email me. I'm dropping my email in the chat. Nancy, you too. I would love to email you, but I'm good on a webinar, but I cannot email you at the same time. So just email me. Just say, hey, I was on your webinar this morning. Send me your slide. Katie, can you send me the slides? So, and as soon as I'm off the air, I'll send it to you. So, or you can send me a DM if you're on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn. I'm at Katie Lance, basically everywhere. So you can also send me a DM if you don't want to email me. I'll drop my Instagram real fast in the chat. Instagram.com/me, Katie Lance. Okay. There we go. Thank you guys. Yeah, I told you you'd want the slides. All right, pretty cool. I'm sure, again, I know there's some of you who said you use Gemini. Cool. Some of you, I'm sure, like, I've never used this before. But again, I just wanted to point it out to you because it's a Google tool, right? And so I think anything, especially since we use Google all the time, it's just good to know. It's also nice. I think it's important with AI to not have all of your eggs in one basket. Just like I would tell you, don't just have Facebook, don't just have Instagram, don't just have TikTok, don't just have one platform. What happens if that platform goes away? What happens if you get hacked? Same thing. Don't just use ChatGPT or one other tool. Like diversify your AI a little bit. I think it's important. Okay. And part of this, by the way, this is one of my favorite mantras, new mindset, new result, right? A lot of this is just sort of mindset shifting. And one tip I would give you, especially for AI, because I know I just gave you a bunch of ideas, some of which you probably like, some of you you're like, I'm not sure if I would use that. I would say it's really worth it. I do this a lot inside of our Get Social Smart Academy. We have a membership site where we work with hundreds of agents all over North America, helping them with their social media and AI and things like that. And one of the things I always encourage them to do is to take a little bit of time and to think through kind of the average work week. And I'm a little low tech, so I still love a notepad. But if you have time this week, make some notes on like what does an average week look like. Now, okay, I know that's kind of funny because obviously the average day could be anything in real estate, but as you kind of think about on average, sort of your normal sort of lead generation things you do, what are some normal, kind of follow-up things that you might do? Do you have a sales meeting you go to on a regular basis? Start to kind of sketch out what you do on a normal basis, and then where are there opportunities for AI to help in that, whether it's maybe follow-up emails, coming up with video ideas, whatever it might be, right? I think that's one of the biggest things is to not give you more work, but to help you with the work that you already have. Okay, another AI tool, and again, if you have questions, feel free to put it in the chat. I'm happy to answer any questions. Another AI tool I have that I absolutely love, and I actually did a whole training about this. It's on my website if you are looking for a deep dive. I just did like a 70-minute training on this tool. It's so amazing. It's called Descript. I'm not affiliated. I'm not paid to talk about them or any tool. I just love it. I've used it. Descript I have used for probably 2 years now. And full disclosure, I create and post and edit all my own content. So I do not have time to take 2 hours to make a YouTube video. I don't have time to take 2 hours to make a TikTok. So I use Descript a lot. There's a couple tools I use, but this one I particularly love because they have AI video editing baked into their tool. Now, it's not an app, it's actually a website. So descript.com, it's in the yellow on the screen here. So for any of you who like to use your computer for stuff versus your phone, you will like this. I use my phone for a lot, but especially for video editing, I think it's easier on a bigger screen. That's just me personally. So let me share with you really quick why I like this. So basically the way Descript works, you can take any video, whether it's a 30-second video, a listing video, it could be a video where you're talking, where you're sharing something helpful, it could be a podcast, it could be audio only. You upload that into Descript, and what you're looking at on the left-hand side is kind of the back end of what it looks like. So you upload it, and then it on the left-hand side, it transcribes your whole video, which first of all is really cool because you've got a whole transcription. And if you wanted to, you could actually manually edit the video by deleting the words you don't want in the video, which is pretty fantastic. Now, there's some AI tools that I'll talk about in a second, but let's say you recorded a 3-minute video and you were like, oh my gosh, I'm really rambling. I went way too long on that story. I kept saying this and that, and I want to just take that out. Well, you just look at the transcript and you just delete the words or the sentences you don't want, and then it just takes it out of the video. It is awesome. Now, if you don't want to manually do that, there are some really cool AI tools that will allow you to do that. So when you're uploading into Descript, there's a whole little section of AI tools. And you can see here, I've just basically have like 5 steps. You upload a Descript, and then you can use the AI button to remove filler words. Those are the ums, ahs, so, like, all those kind of filler words. It'll remove a lot of those. It'll remove the pauses. So this is really helpful, especially when you're recording. A lot of us do not talk fast naturally, but the reality is for videos to get traction on social media, you have to kind of talk a little bit faster, grab people's attention, right? People have like no attention span these days. So if you're recording a video and you're like, okay, I need to stop and think, maybe you've got some notes again written down, you're like, I'm going to look down at my notes for a second. You don't have to stop and re-record. Oh, I messed up. Stop and re-record. Just record it, and then you can upload it into Descript, and there's a little button that will remove all of your long pauses. If you want to remove any pause longer than 2 seconds or longer than 3 seconds or whatever, it'll automatically do it, which is awesome. It'll also improve the sound. So let's say you're outside, like this video, I was outside, I was recording in my backyard. It was a beautiful day. Well, as luck would have it, an airplane is flying over, like the wind is whipping. The sound was okay. And the reality is, when it comes to video, people will forgive bad lighting. They'll forgive it if it's shaky, you're doing a selfie video and it's kind of shaky. What people tend to swipe away from really quick is if they can't hear you, right? If the sound is low, like I can't hear you, they're going to swipe away. So there's actually a little AI button called Studio Sound where you can upload your video, hit Studio Sound, and it is going to make your sound so crisp. It's going to sound like you're in a studio. It's fantastic. I use this on just about all my videos. The third thing you can do is create short reels and clips via AI. Now, again, this is not making AI generated videos. This is taking your videos and clipping them up. So I'll give a quick example. I was just doing a big training, as I mentioned, in our academy about this. And I had one of our academy members, his name's John. He said, Katie, I have a 2-minute video. Could I take that 2-minute video and it was like a reel, so vertical video. Could I take that 2-minute video and turn that into 4 30-second clips? I was like, absolutely. And you can do that all within Descript, and you don't even have to know what you're doing. There's actually a repurpose button. So you can upload the video, clean it up with the AI tools, and then there's a little repurpose button that will make clips. It'll say, well, how many clips do you want? 1, 2, 3. So it'll make you, 3, 4, 5 clips, whatever. And now you've got that full video, and now you've got some shorter clips. So now you've taken one video and you've turned it into 4, or you've turned it into 5, right? Which is amazing. And so, great for a listing video, but really, I think even better is if you're, again, sitting down and you're sharing some tips, you're sharing some helpful information. A question I'm often asked is what type of content is the best type of content to post? Well, if you and I were sitting down, I would tell you, I want to see one quick video from you every week sharing a helpful tip. What is it like to live in your area? What's going on in real estate? What's happening in your local community? I don't want to see the flyer from, the city. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what's going on with you. So again, you look how you look, you sound how you sound. I want to see the gray hairs. I want to see it all, right? Especially nowadays, it's that sort of know, like, and trust factor. But again, imagine creating a longer video and now you've got short videos. And with those short videos, by the way, you can upload those and go, hey, by the way, here's a 10-second clip. If you'd like the link to the longer video, like and comment below. If you'd like a link to the longer video, send me a DM. And now you're creating curiosity. You've taken one video and you've turned it into 4 or 5. And then also you can create YouTube SEO descriptions and titles. So I mentioned Gemini is great for this. You can do this with ChatGPT, but you can also do it right within Descript. There's a button that says generate YouTube description, generate YouTube titles, generate social media posts. So big time saver. There's a free version of Descript and then there's a paid version. There's a couple different paid levels. I believe the paid version is about 20 bucks a month. The version I pay for it, so there's a free version, and actually I just looked at this the other day. I think it goes like $16 a month and then 24. And I'm at the 24 a month. And I actually think I was grandfathered in at a slightly lower cost because I think their prices went up just a tiny bit, as a lot of things have this year. So, yeah. So Kathy, don't put your email in the chat. Email me. Email me directly, katie@katielance.com. Thank you. Okay, so edit your videos faster with Descript. That is, like, obviously I'm a fan, right? I'm a fan. All right, so let's get into Canva because I know a lot of you are here for Canva, which I'm excited to talk about. Yeah, and I'll drop my email one more time in the chat just in case you didn't see it earlier because I know there's some folks who joined a little bit late. Yeah, for any of you who joined late, just shoot me an email, and I can send you the slides. Okay, so there's a lot to talk about with Canva. Obviously, with Canva AI, there are a lot of really cool things. And I just want to say right off the bat, I don't think as a realtor you need to know every cool new thing that's happening, especially with Canva. I think you need to know, like, actually the things that are going to help you again with your business. So there's lots of things that are baked into Canva AI, things like Magic Write, Magic Design, Magic Switch, Magic Erase, like all kinds of good stuff. And some of you mentioned that you use Canva, which is awesome. I'd imagine a lot of you probably use Canva at some point. There's a free version of Canva. There's a paid version of Canva. Some of what I'm talking about today is free. Again, to be honest with you, to really use the full suite of Canva, especially AI, you're going to need the paid version of Canva. And I would say out of anything, I think Canva is totally worth it. I've used Canva for probably a decade. I think it's great for a lot of tools. And it's just like anything. Obviously, we can't just create something. We want to make sure that we customize it to our brand and what we're all about. Yeah, Jamie, she says, I use Canva. Sometimes it gets tricky. It is a little tricky. There's a lot you can do with it. So sometimes it feels a little overwhelming. Canva is also one of those things that you can use on your computer or your phone. Again, I'm kind of a laptop girl. I like when I'm creating something to use my laptop. That's just me. So I go to canva.com for all my Canva stuff. But I do like the mobile app because a lot of times I need to post from my phone and I want to post from my phone to Facebook or post from my phone to Instagram or post to TikTok or wherever. So I will often create on my computer and then use the app to open it up, download it. So now I have it on my phone. That's sort of my secret hack. Yeah, she only likes Canva on the laptop. Yeah. Nancy says I jack it up often. Yes. Yes, you're not alone. I think a lot of people suffer with that. Okay, so one AI thing that I think is awesome, especially for real estate inside of Canva, is Magic Erase and Magic Edit. So this slide always reminds me of one of those. This is going to date me, but remember back in the day, like in the newspaper, they'd have like that little cartoon, and they'd say like, "What is different? Can you see what is different from this picture to this picture?" So I'm going to ask you guys, what did I change in the before and after? Type it in the chat. Who's going to be the first to tell me? What did I change in the picture? What is removed? Let me know. Let's see who gets it right. It's a pretty easy one, actually. The chessboard. Yes, I removed the game board. Exactly. The board's removed. Thank you. All right. See, then I promise there won't be any tougher questions than that. No calculus or anything. So with Canva, you can upload a photo and erase something or fix it. So again, just like I said earlier, when we were talking about Gemini, we're not going to erase things that are permanently in the room. If there's a big beam, we can't erase that, right? If there's a big power line, we can't erase that. But let's say you take some pictures and you're like, oh gosh dang it, who left that big family portrait on the wall? Who left that bag in the corner? And in the past, we would have had to use Photoshop or, it just would have been complicated. So you can literally upload into Canva, hit Magic Erase, and there's like a little brush, and you can literally erase whatever you want to erase. Magic Edit will actually replace it with something. So if you want to erase that chessboard and replace it with some potted flowers, you could do that also. But at a minimum, I love the Magic Erase button. Here's another example. I did this recently. I was speaking in New York for Inman Connect, and I had this great picture of Times Square, but you couldn't really see the text because there was traffic. So I uploaded it to Canva. I used Magic Erase and I erased the traffic. I wish I could do that in real life, but I erased the traffic and then the text, I was able to type the text along the bottom. So love that tool. Again, just great if you're trying to clean up some photos. I also use Canva a lot for my video thumbnails. So, when you upload a video to any platform, let's say you upload it to Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or wherever, if you don't have a thumbnail or you don't pick a thumbnail, the first frame that people see is usually terrible, right? Like your mouth's half open, your eyes are closed. It's pretty awful. So I like to use Canva for a lot of my video thumbnails. I don't use it for everything, but especially YouTube, I find it really does make a big difference. So one of the things I like to do is I will take some still photos of myself and then I'll put them into Canva. So, for example, I've got a photo of myself pointing. And I'll actually take this a step further. One of my little hacks with video, one of the ways I'm able to create a lot of video is I set aside an hour or two every single month where I batch create a lot of videos. I've been doing this for years. I've often said if I'm going to do my hair and makeup and record one video, you better believe I'm going to make like 4 or 5. So I set aside time. It's on my calendar. It's just as important as any other lead generating activity. It's that important. So I feel like if it's not on the calendar, it's not going to happen. Let's be real. So it's on the calendar. I set aside time. I record 4 or 5 videos. I don't post them all right away. I edit them that day. I get them all ready to go. So then I'm ready to post them whenever I'm ready to post them. But I also take some pictures of myself, and those pictures I can use for thumbnails. So I'll take a few pictures, pointing or smiling. I can go into Canva, and there's a little button that says background remover, which will remove the background. And you can do this on a photo or even a video. And then you can put that photo wherever you'd like. So I specifically use this a lot for video thumbnails. You can see I took the background out, and I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, which is why this is why I use this picture, which by the way is a stock photo. Canva has an amazing stock photo library as well as a stock video library. That's a whole other conversation, but they have a really great library for stock photography. So I just searched San Francisco, found a great photo, added some text, added a fake logo. That's not really my logo, I just added a fake logo. And you can see that's a lot better, right? It's a lot better than just whatever YouTube would have generated when I uploaded the video. So, and there's some great templates that you can use for that. I know how to remove the background. Oh, then you have trouble replacing the background. So when you remove the background, think of it as you want to remove the background and then put your picture in front of something else. So when you remove that background, oftentimes you need to kind of like move yourself off the screen a little bit so then you can add something behind you. I kind of know what you're talking about. When you remove the background, you still kind of have this outline, and so it can feel a little frustrating as far as like what to put behind yourself. So my tip is when you're removing the background, just kind of shrink yourself down, put yourself in the corner, like to the side of your design, and then put your background image behind you. So whether that's a photo of a listing or the view or whatever photo you have, put that in the background, and then you can enlarge yourself, and then it'll be fine. But sometimes you have to kind of like whatever when you've removed the background on yourself, you have to like get your image kind of out of the way a little bit because that can be tricky. Hopefully that makes sense. Um, I always have trouble that when I want to drag a photo onto the canvas screen, it won't shrink down for me and I have to start over. So you can click on it. You should be able to click on it and then kind of shrink it down. You can either drag it over or you can just click on it and it'll move over as well. Yeah, for sure. And let me see our time really quick. I actually might be able to just show you something really quick inside of Canva since we're doing this. Let me just back out of this really quick. And I'm actually in Canva presenting to you guys, but let me just go into Canva really quick. Let me just share something super fast. I wasn't planning on doing this, but let me just do this really quick. I'm going to open up YouTube thumbnail and just show you super quick. So And again, I can't necessarily do a whole Canva tutorial, but let me just show something really fast here. Let me grab a photo of myself. Okay, so let's say I've got this photo and I want to remove the background. I'm going to make this bigger. So up at the very top, there's a little button that says BG Remover. I'm going to click that. That's going to remove the background, right? So now I want to put something behind me. So like I said, I'm going to make myself small. I'm just going to move myself over. And if I have something I've already uploaded, I can add that behind me. Or if I want to search for, again, I'm just going to search for maybe San Francisco, just to make it simple. Let's say I want to find a great photo. Let's add that one. So if I just click on it, it's just going to go there. So I can basically stretch it out, right? Or I can drag it over like that, either way. And when you stretch it out, when I stretch it all the way out, obviously I disappear. So what I'm going to do is basically push it behind me. When you right click, you have these layers. So everything's a layer, and I can send this to the back like that. I could even right click and go down to layers and show all my layers, and you can kind of move stuff around. So that's just kind of a quick thing that you could do. And, I can move myself around here and add in all kinds of cool stuff. But hopefully that helps a little bit. Whoever just asked that. Yeah, that's kind of the trick there. Is kind of all about the layers. Um, and again, just like anything, the more you do it, the easier it gets. Thanks for asking that, though. That was a great question. Okay, let me go back to my slides here. And one other cool thing with AI, so I showed sort of the before and after. I'm going to play a quick video. Again, Canva can actually create videos for you through their AI. You can actually upload some photos and have it turn into a quick video. I'm going to play a quick, like, again, it's probably 10-15 second video that was created through Canva AI. So remember, I showed you in Gemini, you can do this. You can upload. Now, Gemini only allows you to upload 3 photos and let you turn it into like a quick video. Canva is a little bit more robust. So let me show you what this looks like. I'm just going to play this for a quick second. Okay, that whole video, I did not do anything other than uploaded photos and I gave it a simple prompt. So, I know earlier I was talking about Descript and all the cool things you could do, to make video editing simple. If that still felt a little overwhelming and you need a super simple solution, Canva AI could be that super simple solution. You go into Canva, you click Canva AI, you upload however many photos you want. Now, there's probably a limit. I usually upload like 5 to 10. I don't think you can upload like 100, but you could upload 5 or 10 photos and then you give it a prompt. And I wrote, create a just listed video promoting this listing, 123 Main Street, San Francisco, California. So it took the photos, took my prompt, and then made that video with music, with some text on the screen. Now I could go in there and edit and go, oh, I don't really like that word. I don't like that font. I want to change the color. You could do any of that, but it's just also really simple and quick. So I think it's great, especially for listings or open houses, and you've got a bunch of photos and you're like, I just need to get something up quick. Obviously this doesn't replace like a professionally done listing tour, but it's nice if you just want a quick, hey, 20-second teaser, 30-second open house promo. And again, that's all through Canva AI. Now, I do know the video creation tool with Canva AI, you do have to be a paying user of Canva. So you do have to have a paid account with Canva to do that. Um, but just a heads up on that. Super easy, which I love. And again, just like I said at the very beginning of all this, it's all about saving time, right? It's not like giving you more work, but just saving you time. And I will say specifically in Canva, the more you use it, the better you get. It can feel a little intimidating the first few times you use it. Okay, last couple things, and then I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have. Basically, I have 3 slides left for you. There is not an app or tool that can replace you. And this, I would love somebody to share this on social media because I think that more of us need that reminder. AI is great, social media is great, but nothing can replace this. Nothing can replace the face-to-face, a handshake, a high five, a handwritten card, picking up the phone. I've said this for years. You could go on Facebook right now and see, oh, it's these people's birthdays. And you could be like everybody else and write on their page, happy birthday, HBD. or you could be the one person today that calls them, right? Or reaches out personally. So I love tech, I love AI, but there's nothing like you, right? And that's like the secret sauce to all of this is whatever AI tool you're using, Claude, Gemini, Descript, Canva, whatever it might be, you have to insert you, right? That's definitely the name of the game. Um, yeah, for sure, Jamie, if you have the paid version. And I would say if there's a tool that you want to get better at, I'll just give you a quick tip. One of the things I do, I set aside an hour for myself once a week, and I realize it's not always doable for everybody. For me, it's Friday because Friday is kind of a quiet day. I don't typically take calls on Friday. Like Friday is kind of my catch-up day. So I set aside an hour on Friday, and that hour is dedicated to education and learning. And a lot of times it's dedicated to learning a specific tool better, whether that's Canva, whether that's Gemini, whatever it might be. Because as much as you can come to a class like this, and half of it is just coming to the class. So kudos to all of you for being here, whether you're watching live or maybe later you're watching this on YouTube. So kudos to you. But the other part of it is just like getting in there and being like, what happens when I click this? And where is this? And and just sort of spending time learning it without actually needing a result. Like it's stressful when you're like, I need to get a listing photo done today. That is not fun and enjoyable. It's a lot more, you're going to learn a lot better if you're like, here's a video that I don't care about, but let's play around with it. Let's see what I could do with it. Like, let's see what I could make here. So that would be my advice. If you can set aside an hour or so, if possible, once a week, that's 4 hours a month. You will be heads and tails above so many people just because you're spending time learning whatever tool. Maybe it's your CRM, maybe it's something else that you need to learn. That's just my advice. People always ask me, how do you stay up to date? That's one of the ways I stay up to date is getting in there. Okay, two other quick slides here. Done is better than perfect. This is another thing. I want some of you to post this. Take a picture, upload it. You're looking for something to post today? Here's your sign. Done is better than perfect. Progress, not perfection. If we wait till everything is right and you got the right phone and things quiet down and then I'll do this, it's never going to be the right time, as we all know. So I don't know who needed to hear this. I always say this in all my webinars because I needed that reminder. I even have a sign on my desk that says done is better than perfect. And I have it here as a reminder. Okay, last thing I want to share with you. I have a whole free resource library. So if this was helpful, if you like my style, if you don't, that's okay too. But hopefully, if you like my style, I would love to connect with you. If you go to katielance.com/freebies or you just scan the QR code, it'll take you to my website. I have a whole bunch of free resources on AI, on Canva, on social media that I'm happy to give you for free. So feel free to scan that. And then for any of you who are looking for paid training, like again, if you like my style, you want to work with me, you're curious about our academy or coaching, we're doing a little spring sale right now. So you can go to katielance.com/academy, katielance.com/academy to check that out. Our academy is normally $99 a month or $9.99 for the year, and it's on sale now for $59 a month or $5.99 for the year. So if that's of interest, feel free to check that out. And then you've got my email there, katie@katielance.com. Again, please email me if you'd like the slides or if you have a question that you don't want to ask in front of everybody. I can definitely answer that, or you can always DM me. Okay, that being said, we've got like a few minutes left. I would love to open it up to questions. What did you guys think? Did you enjoy this? Did you get some ahas? And what questions did you have? Feel free to ask me anything. I'm going to look at the chat here. Let's see here. You can either type it in the chat or you can unmute. Melissa says, with regard to the video thumbnail, how do you set it in your videos? Oh, good question. So with the video thumbnail from Canva, I create it on my desktop. Then I open up my phone and open up Canva and download it to my phone. I usually post video from my phone. I just find it's a little bit easier. So once the thumbnail's on my phone, then I will go to whatever platform. So if I'm going to Instagram, I will upload my video to Instagram. And every platform's a little bit different, but basically every platform allows you to upload a thumbnail. Some places call it a cover photo, like Instagram calls it a cover photo. So you upload it to Instagram, you write out your caption, you add whatever you want to add, and then there's a little button that says cover photo. And you can either scrub the video and like choose a clip in the video to be the cover if you want, or you can actually upload it. So that's what I do. Same thing with Facebook. You can upload a video. It'll say cover photo or thumbnail, and then you just upload that directly. Same thing with YouTube. So every platform's a little bit different, but typically the way it works is you upload the video first. You write whatever caption you want under the video, and then you upload that thumbnail. Again, some people call it thumbnails, some people call it cover photos. Stephanie says, is Copilot similar to Gemini with integrations? I'm going to be honest with you, I am not as familiar with Copilot because it's a Microsoft tool and I don't use a ton of Microsoft tools. I am more of a Mac and Google person. But Copilot, from what I have seen from agents who are using it, Copilot has really integrated into email in a really interesting way. I'm seeing a lot of agents use Copilot to like scan their emails, summarize their emails, create some workflows with emails. So that's definitely something I would consider. I'm just to be honest with you, I'm not as familiar with it as I am other platforms. Great ideas. Definitely need to rewatch. Oh, good. I'm glad you're not feeling overwhelmed. I love it. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you guys. I'm gonna just drop some links in the chat just so you guys have them, just in case this QR code isn't working. Every once in a while, QR codes are a little funky. So here's the link in the chat for our freebies, and then I'll drop the link in the chat to our academy if that is something of interest. Um, I'll put that in there also. Awesome. Cool. Well, let me open it back up. I don't know if Amanda, if you want to pop back on, if you have any last minute words of wisdom as we get to the end here today. I don't know if you're still on here or not, or if anything
I am.
from
I wish I had words of wisdom, but I don't. It's a hard to follow up. So, Katie, thank you for being here today. Again, y'all, we are recording this, and so if you did miss something, want to rewatch it, we will have it up on the Northwest YouTube channel by the end of the week. Share it with somebody else who maybe was not able to be here. We really appreciate you, Katie, for your time. Thank you so much for your bits of knowledge. And with that, everybody have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for the kind words. I really appreciate it. Hope to be back for sure. Have a great day. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions.